welcome to AIBC Summit YouTube channel where we cover all things blockchain and crypto. And joining me today is our guest speaker for the upcoming Malta Week on November. He is the Business Development Manager at Main Incubator GmBH, Adrian Doerk. Great to talk to you. Thanks for joining me.
Hello, thank you very much, Yanni, for this opportunity.
So Adrian, could you tell us a little bit more about yourself, your background, and what you're currently working on at the moment?
Yeah, so basically we're the Main Incubator GmbH, being the research and development unit of the Commerzbank Group. And we have different research topic, and one of them has been digital identity for the last 3 years. And we were really deep diving into it, comparing different frameworks and ideas how to approach this really fundamental topic. And we came up with really good ideas, and basically that's how Lissi were developed. And with Lissi, we approach the whole topic of digital identity in a new way, meaning that we give back data sovereignty and control to people, that they can control their digital identity into a wallet, which is then on the phone. And basically I'm helping to make sure that all the community comes together. So as a business developer, I have contacts with our customers, but also we're very much engaged with the whole community, because I'm also the communication lead at ID Union, which is a government-funded a research project for the next 3 years, where we come together with a lot of stakeholders in Germany and research the topic of digital identity, how we can build this kind of infrastructure, which builds on open standards, open protocols, and so on. And that's the reason why I'm also active in different standardization bodies around the world, being, for example, the Decentralized Identity Foundation or the Trust over IP Foundation, because it's very important to make that to talk with the community and build on the same standards internationally, and don't have like closed ecosystems within one country again, but actually make it usable across borders and having this kind of data portability between vendors. And that's really what I'm being active in the community to try to get all the nuts together and make sure that we all share the same vision, the same goal, and collaborate on that.
All right, fantastic. And on to the topic of Malta Week. Talk to us on what you will be speaking about, its importance. Give us a brief summary of what the attendees can expect and look forward to from your talk.
So basically, when it comes to the whole topic of digital identity, it's very fundamental for us as a society, because right now it's very much splattered around or splintered around, like our identity. It's not on a single place that you're able to control it as an individual. So I will talk about the whole topic of identification, which basically asks who you are. And let's be honest, there is a need for regulated entities to do KYC, know your customer processes to identify individuals. So as much as we like the permissionless nature of crypto, we have regulatory requirements which we need to fulfill, and I would like to talk about how we will fulfill these kind of requirements in the future with this kind of wallet, where we have, for example, AIDAS verified credentials as a means of doing this kind of identification process. So I will talk about the current landscape, more or less, and like point out the drawbacks, and then talk a little bit about the roadmap ahead, where the whole community is going and what kind of identification we may use in the future. And also talk about authentication. Basically, authentication asks, is it you again? So basically, authentication right now is done via passwords or so-called single sign-on, also known as social login. So for example, login with Facebook, login with Google. And while that's very convenient, these kind of single sign-on features, they also lock you up in a proprietary ecosystem. And that's what we're also working on, to give more freedom to the people, meaning that they don't depend on a single entity, which to provide this kind of login services, because these entities also consume the metadata and fabricate prediction products and sell it to advertisers. And that's something which we also want to avoid, and that this kind of correlation between different actions and user profiles is not possible anymore. meaning that we want to offer this kind of single passwordless, single sign-on, but for a user that I can control it, and there's not a single entity acting as a gatekeeper, right? And finally, I will also talk about customer centricity, being like that it's really important to designing processes from the customer perspective. Because right now, digital identity is very much centered around the idea of organizations having their proprietary domain and it's only working in their domain. We're going a little bit away from that as a society with this kind of single sign-on feature. But as I mentioned, this is like, it is like a step in the right direction. However, it's not the solution which we ultimately need. It still lacks these kind of control aspects for the individual. So how can we be able to have this kind of user centricity with really the convenience factors of, for example, a single sign-on feature, but also with the data sovereignty and the control for the individual? I think these are really important aspects which we need to approach together as a community. And that's where we're working in ID Union with the very big community. I think we're like over 250 people right now, and over 50 institutions working on that. But also with Lissi, where we as a software provider provide the necessary tools to actually do that. However, like we have no vendor lock-in, so you can use the technology with Lissi or any other provider who supports the same standards. So that's also one of our key aspects, that we don't want to lock anybody in our ecosystem, but say, okay, if you want to take your data and go somebody else, we enable that. And then obviously the switching costs decrease quite a lot for individuals, but also for institutions, making it an open ecosystem. That's basically what we're looking for. And these are the three topics which I will talk about: identification, authentication, customer centricity. And I'm very much looking forward to that the AIBC Summit in Malta.
All right, three things to look forward to Adrian's talk: identification, authentication, and customer centricity. Definitely looking forward to learning more about those. Now, how important are these events for anyone in the space to attend?
I think it's super important to really meet up actually in person also, and come together with the community. And because it's right now we see that a lot of people do podcasts and webinars and so on. And while these are super useful, I think it's also very important to actually meet up with your community in a place and be physically present and talk to people, because most of the times the really good ideas or the good deals or whatever you're looking for is probably happening in the event. And I think everybody misses that quite a lot. And that's the reason why I'm looking really forward to the AIBC Summit. I think it's a really good place for this kind of community topics, being with a decentralized movement, with DLT's projects in general, and the whole crypto topic, but also obviously the digital identities part of it. I think that's the right place then as a community to meet up and meet like-minded people.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. Well, I'm so pleased to have this opportunity to talk. Thank you so much for your time today, Adrian. We look forward to seeing you in November.
It was a pleasure. I'm looking really forward to it. Thank you very much.
All right, that is it for myself. Catch Adrian at the Malta Week, and that is from the 16th to the 19th of November. It's literally going to be the mother of all conferences, so do not miss out. To know more information, you can head on to aibc.world, and we'll see you there.